Okay, now we're on to the hamstrings. Okay, we're done with the knee stretches. We're on to the hamstrings, exercise number 155. It's seated hamstring curl with the TheraBand. So now, it's around my leg. You can see how it is set up over there. You want to make sure that when the person's starting, there's tension right there in the TheraBand, not when it's loose. So from here, the person just kind of leans back a little bit, and they drive their heels straight back. I'm going to move my legs so you can see, and they come forward. You don't want this. You don't want it fast. Nice and slow on the way back, nice and slow on the way forward. This is for very early, the person's very weak hamstring. Okay, they can point the toe up towards them if they want, because if the toe is pointed down, they might feel a cramp in here. So pointing the toe up will keep this from cramping up. And again, straight back, and then forward nice and slow. So just seated hamstring curl. You want to get more tension, you just move that TheraBand. You could, pull it out more if you want, but you don't want to make sure that nobody trips over those dumbbells. You can have those dumbbells further away. But the progression from here is going to be obviously from the lighter TheraBand to a heavier one, and then eventually to the machine. Okay, so next one is standing hip extension, forearms on the table with a cuff weight or a TheraBand. I'd rather use a TheraBand. You can use a cuff weight, just imagine there's a cuff weight around my leg. But right now I'm going to show you the TheraBand. So the hips are on the table, this knee slightly bent, and all the weight is on the table. Okay? Not like this. You really lean forward. Okay? This knee is slightly bent. Like I said, the leg that's working is going to be straight, toe up towards you. It's going to go straight up. As soon as the toe touches the ground, come right back up. You don't move. You don't do this. It's none of that. Stay straight, up, down, up, down. If you want to use a cuff weight instead, you can. But you want to make sure that the TheraBand has constant tension. You notice that the tension on this TheraBand is nice and tight from when I'm starting. It's not loose. If it's loose and finally getting tight around here, that's no good. So you want to tight right from here, go straight up. See how nothing else is moving? I'm doing straight up hip extension. Great way to isolate the hip extensions, which are your hamstrings specifically here, and your glutes secondary. So that's hip extension, forearms on the table. You want to just write hip extension at the table. This is what it looks like. Number 157 is prone hamstring curl with TheraBand. Again, the muscle's in a shortened position because I'm straight in the neutral position. And now I want to just curl the hamstring at the knee. So you see the TheraBand, how it's wrapped around my heel. It's not at my ankle, because if it's at my ankle, as I bring it up, the band's just going to slide down my leg. So you want to keep it around the ankle. And also, there's a thick pillow underneath the waist and the lower belly. Person can be like this on their, they can tuck their elbows in as they're doing it. You don't want them like this. So they can be like this, flat, uncomfortable for the neck though. Just have them like this, with their elbows are tucked in and their chin is just kind of resting on their hands. And from here, they go straight up, straight back down, nice and slow. Straight up, straight back down. You can take a pillow and put it underneath the thigh, long ways if you like this. Pretend like this is still a pillow underneath my belly. So you can do that if you want. If you want to add just a little bit more of a stretch to the rectus femoris, the quad muscle, and loosen it up that way, you can do that. Straight up, straight down, nice and slow. Nothing else moves. All right, but again, always keep that big pillow underneath the belly. Standing hamstring curl with cuff weight. The thigh starts off right against the table. The reason we do that is, if you're starting here, people do this. So I don't want hip flexion, I want knee flexion. So what we do is we put the plate here, and we bring their legs up and their thigh here, so the table blocks any kind of hip flexion. You tell the patient, if you feel like you're pressing your thigh against the table, no good. You can a little bit just for support, but this is basically what you're doing. You're going up and down. You put the plate underneath so you can get the full range of motion. You come up, kick the butt against the heel against the butt, come down nice and slow. Again, it should be like this, should be like this. Keep it straight. The only joint that's moving here is the knee joint. Coming up, down. So this is standing hamstring curl with a cuff weight. You can do this with a cuff weight because there's really no way to do it with a TheraBand. So cuff weight it is. Okay? That's it. Okay, number 160, hip extension at the cable column. It's a CC cable column, okay? Person stands on a plate, giving that extra little height, toe up towards them, knee is locked out, this leg is slightly unlocked just to hold them, forearm across the bar, hand here, not here, here, round out the back, okay, get a nice little mini squat position, straight back, forward. Nice and slow. What they do is they visually see the foot come forward when it matches up with about this foot, but before the weights touch, right before the weights touch, they stop. Actually, when the heel matches up to the toe, it should be pretty much when they stop. But you don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear that. Right before the weights touch, and then when they go back, I see my toe disappears. I can't see it anymore. That's pretty much where it's going to be, where I want to stop. Any more, I might be arching my back. You don't want to be twisting. Shouldn't be going that way. Straight back behind you, straight forward. Nice and slow, straight back, straight forward. You can have your toe up towards you if you want. It helps to keep that knee locked out. And the other knee should be bent the whole time. All right? Very simple. I'm weight bearing through my forearm here, holding on, not moving my trunk at all. Nothing else is moving except the joint that is working, which is the hip right now. All right? So people do this sometimes and they bend the knee. Keep the knee straight. It's a common compensation. That's one. The other one is a twist. Okay? Stand behind them, hold their hips, make sure the hips don't move, so they can just bring their hips back. Number 159 is prone hip extension with a cuff weight. Notice there's a thick and a thin. That's how you got to do it. Underneath the lower belly and the hips, that's where you keep it. You want this from my feet mounded up to my hips and then back down. Hands again, elbows tucked in. Person's like this. Knee is straight. Go up, back down. Up, back down. Not this. Okay? Not this. Person's gonna hurt their back. So you go up nice and slow, right about there. Come back down. The moment that the cuff taps the table, go right back down again. Back up again. Nice and slow. Hip extension. They don't have to point their toe up. They can relax their ankle. And as long as they get the hip to extend without twisting their trunk. That's how you gotta do it, okay? Prone hip extension, two pillows, a thick and a thin, and the weight around the ankles, okay? That's it. Number 161 is the hamstring curl. I'm pretty much 5'10", almost, all right? I'm a seat 3. If you have anybody that's, 5'10", to maybe 6 foot, they're like a seat 3. You get higher up than that, they're a seat 4. Anybody who's shorter, like a 5'4", 5'5", or below, seat 2, okay? So you'll figure that out. But basically when a person sits down, their knee joint should be lined up with this, okay? That's what you want it lined up with. So how you set this up is the person sits in it. There's orders of setting this up. The first thing the person sits down, you visually look, their knee joint's about here, good. Then what they do is they put this leg up first, the right leg, okay? People sometimes do this, then they can't get their leg up, so right leg up first, then the left leg, then they scoot their butt back. That's what you tell them, scoot your butt back, and then you worry about adjusting this, and this should be right below the heel on the lower part of the Achilles tendon, which is like right in there, okay? So they sit up nice and tall, then you slide your pillow in here, take this, push it down. What you don't want to hear is this. It should be down tight to whatever the person can tolerate it. You want this down nice and tight, because if it's not, they're going to activate their hip flexors to kind of come up and stabilize themselves. So if the person can tolerate it being nice and tight, that's good. If you see that it's causing a hyperextension of the knee, you can use your extension stop to bring this down a little bit. This way you can, start when the person's not so hyperextended back here. This feels comfortable for me. You tell them to put their hands here, gently push back. Don't pull, push, and gently. They don't have to try to break their back, but gently, just so they keep themselves nice and straight. Toe up nice and, toes up. Come down. The hammer passes the strap. That's what you tell them. Everybody on their first set is just going to let it fly back up. It's going to clank. So be careful that when they're down there, maybe put your hand there and just protect it from slamming up. Say, listen, once you're down here, it's going to want to fly back up. Don't let it. Easily bring it back up right before either the weights touch or right before this thing hits this. But you can tell them right before your knees lock out, come back down. And that's what you want. You don't want the person to have their knees straighten out all the time. It's tension. So they start here, down, and up. Okay, if they're doing a single, let's say right, what you do is you say, okay, look, on the first set, I want you to use both legs, go down, then your left leg's gonna come up by itself, and your right leg's gonna work. Right before it hits this calf, you go back down, hammer passes the strap, go back up. Okay, if you're doing a manual muscle test on this one, You basically do one side, take a good rest, have the person count how many reps they got, take a good rest, and then you say, okay, now let's do it on the other side, and we need to make sure that those numbers match up, but that will be explained to you. So this is how you do hamstring curl. It's a lot to do to set it up correctly, but once you have it, the person should feel it right in the back of their thigh. All right, they shouldn't feel it in their knee, they shouldn't feel it in the front of the knee, they feel it here, no good, if they feel it in their lower back, no good. All right, but this is hamstring curl, and I just showed you single right hamstring curl. Always use 2 legs on the first one, then comes up, and then the right one starts by itself. Okay, so this is single right, and the other one I showed you is bilateral. All right, so the next one on this list is, we did it already, was number 124. We did it under the glute section. It's a straight leg deadlifts, which is how you set up. You go down, back up, we already did it. So go back to number 124. It's a hamstring exercise and a glute exercise. I showed it in the glute section, but it's also in the hamstring section. It's a big hamstring exercise. So review that one, the single and the bilateral, okay? But that's a hamstring one we would do, but we're not gonna go over it again because we already did. 163, this is gonna be supine in bridge hamstring curls with physio ball. So you can just write hamstring curls with physio ball supine. So you basically go up into a bridge, go out, go back in. If you want to make it harder, roll the ball away so your heels are barely on it. You're in a bridge position, go out, come back in, out, come back in. You could progress this to one leg, like that. One leg is up, hold the bridge, do your eccentric rollout, bring it back in. So that was single, this is bilateral, right back in. Great exercise for the hammies, and you're activating your glutes to hold it up. Okay, number 164 is reverse hip extension at cable column. This is when their hamstring strain is getting better and better. We really want to get it strengthened in its most lengthened position, okay, most vulnerable lengthened position. That's how people usually tear it during a sprint, usually during a sprint or a hurdle, but usually a sprint. Not a lot of people hurdle except if you watch football. Hook it up like this. This is going to be a little higher than a person's ankle, the apparatus, so it's a little bit on a downward slope. And what the person's going to do is, you're going to set up the cable column around their ankle, the strap, and then you're going to grab the column, bring it to their leg, and then hook it up that way. Okay, so we didn't show you that, but that's how you would do it. The other leg's going to be bent a little bit. Okay, they have a pillow right up against the base here. Make sure they don't hit their head on here. And from here, they basically come up all the way. Feel a good stretch. Toe up towards them if they want. If they do this and they feel more tension here, it's because of the sciatic nerve. So they don't have to keep the toe up. You can just relax the ankle if you want. That immediately takes tension away from the calf. I know for me, my sciatic nerve gets tight. So if I do this, it gets actually more tight. So don't do that. Keep the ankle relaxed. From here, they go straight down, tap the floor, and come back up nice and slow. They have to come back up slow, because if this thing starts, if they're down here, they just let their leg go like an idiot, it's going to slide up and just kill them. So bring it down nice and slow, up slow, right to where they feel pull, back down again, okay? So this is supine, reverse hip extension, or hip extension and supine, or reverse straight leg raise. However you guys want to do it, come up with one term, but both of those are okay. Reverse straight leg raise or hip extension, cable column, supine. And everybody will know what that means. Once you write the supine, then we know that it's like this. Otherwise, if you write hip extension, everybody's just going to do normal hip extension. But this is how you do it. All right, so the next one we're going to do, we're going to go right into it, is reverse 90-90 knee flexion. So they're going to start from here. You're going to set up the same way. They're going to bend their knee, and they're going to hold it, okay? And then from here, they're going to just bend the knee down. This leg can be down if you want, and it should be down. So they start from here, and they come right down. So again, the hamstring is lengthened at the hip. All right, the hip extension is done by the hamstring, but we're going into max flexion here. So the hamstring is really being lengthened, and then it's being lengthened at the knee this way, and then we're asking it to contract and create force. So this is reverse 90-90 supine at the cable column. Straight down, straight up. Again, a higher level exercise for somebody that came in with a hamstring strain, or someone that we really want to strengthen their hamstring, specifically trying to get back to sports or sprinting without any kind of pain. It should all be felt right here. It's a great exercise to do. Again, this thing's going to be higher up, so there's that downward pull. If this apparatus was here, that line of pull wouldn't be good. But since it's higher, it makes sense and it's easy. Even if you want to go one notch higher, it'd be okay. All right, so this is reverse 90-90. Okay, the next one's going to be number 166, prone tantrum curls. You see when a kid throws a tantrum, he sits there, it does this. This is pretty much what it is. It's with the physio ball. The aide's got to hold the ball, or else the ball's going to go flying. It's a plyometric exercise. So the person not doing it slow, they're kind of just literally going fast, and they're trying to just do this. They're kicking in their hamstrings to do it, and they're hitting the ball, and that's pretty much it. It's a hamstring exercise, but they're hitting the thing pretty hard. And if the hamstring can fire this way, then it's in pretty good shape as a muscle. So these are prone tangent curls. Aide's got to hold the ball. So if they don't, like hold the ball, that happens. All right, that's it. All right, so 167 is really the hardest exercise you can do for your hamstring curls. It's a very, very eccentric. You're putting the hamstring curls in a very tough position to create force for you, and it's a higher level exercise compared to the first one we did with the TheraBand, pulling the knee back. We slowly went up in progression of how difficult everything was. On the foam, heels tucked in here. If they can't tuck their heels in here, have an aide or somebody stand behind them and put their hands on their ankles so they don't move. Pretty much the person starts from here. They put their hands here and they're ready. They go down, they slowly lower themselves down, 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 until they can't, and they have to catch themselves and bring themselves back up. Have their hands out in front because you don't want to smash their face. So again, they slowly bring themselves down, lower, 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 catch themselves, and back up. All right? That's your Nordic curls. All right, number 168. Now we're into the quadriceps. So we did all the hamstrings. Now we're going to scale it all back to make it as easy as possible for the quad. So typically somebody after surgery, you want to wake up the quad muscle. Okay, so when you do a quad set, basically setting the quad, you're trying to wake it back up. It's the easiest exercise you can do for the quad. Use a bolster or one of these Tootsie Roll things underneath, okay? And you're looking for the kneecap to move. Sometimes a person would do this and the whole leg will shake. Tell the person to put their hand on their butt cheek, and if they feel like their butt cheek is tightening up, that's the wrong way. You want to see that their thigh muscle is moving, that. Sometimes there's so much swelling here, you can barely see the kneecap move. But here, I don't have a lot of swelling in my knee, but you can see the kneecap move, up and down. So what they do is they press down, and you say, crush the towel, crush this roll underneath you. They could point their toe up towards them. It makes it actually easier. If you want, the other leg can do it at the same time, the healthy leg, because sometimes the coordination of getting this thing to fire is not there. But if you have the other leg doing it at the same time, the brain works in mysterious ways. As soon as this one starts to fire, it'll help this one get the coordination to fire as well. So the way they do it is a 6-second hold. Okay, they push down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relax, give it a second of rest, right back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Usually you can do this for 30 reps, all right? Make sure the person is not doing this, okay? They gotta hold it, and it gets tiring after a while. I just did a couple, and I feel my muscle actually working. So that's your quad set. Number 169, again, somebody's fresh out of surgery, somebody's an ACL repair, they're not ready for their leg press. You do plexi leg press. You could do it this way. If you feel like it's for taller people and going back to the supine hip AB and AD, ask the therapist first, say, can I do it flat up against the wall? Just make sure they have enough pillows and there's nothing behind them that they could hit their head on. Just use common sense that way. Basically, you put it so the end, they straighten out their leg, and you put like the tape part, the orange tape is right below my heel. All right, you don't want to put it like this when I'm running into it and running out. You also don't put it like this when I'm wasting plexi at the end. Okay, so I put it here. They bring this here and they hold it against their stomach. Okay, they can have it on the outside. It's better on the inside. Okay, they hold it however far they can, and then from here they just drive their heel right along the plexi, trying to straighten out their knee. Right before it straightens out, they come right back up, nice and slow. Again, a very basic exercise, but again, who you're using it for is someone who is out of surgery, and you don't want to put them on the leg press, but you want to get the quad and the glutes and everything to fire in this very simple way. This shouldn't be an exercise that someone's doing for more than a few sessions. You want to get them on that leg press as quickly as possible, but this is a great exercise to do day one just to get the knee moving. And the resistance is always here. Again, it's not slacked up. I'm using a very tight TheraBand. The person holds it right against their belly, okay, so it's not going anywhere. And then again, they just slide straight down and right back up. To somebody who's right out of surgery or very early on in any kind of rehab, this is not an easy exercise. It's challenging. But once it gets to be easy, then you want to move on to the next one. Okay, use a double black if you want. If it gets easy and you still don't want to work the leg press, but the therapist, maybe make a suggestion to the therapist, hey, can we get on the leg press now? Maybe if somebody's non-weight bearing, you don't want to put any kind of weight on it, but this is a little bit of weight bearing, but it's not as much as putting your whole foot and pressing up against weight. The TheraBand's much lighter than the 15, 20, 20, 40 pounds that's on the leg press. All right, so this is plexi leg press. All right, so the next one's gonna be TKE at the cable column. Again, we're progressing from easy to hard. Somebody after an ACL tear, we wanna get the quad firing, but maybe not open chain. So what's happening is this is around the back of the knee joint. There's already tension on here. The 25-pound plate is here. My toe is basically going into the hole, and my heel is able to be dropped down. So what happens is the other leg can be slightly unlocked just to support the person, but you basically hold it straight, and they're holding on here, and they hold themselves nice and stable. They go forward, let the knee bend, then they drive the heel straight down, and they flex their quad, and they drive their heel into the floor. So I'm holding 1, 2, 3, nice and easy, unlock it, let it come back in. That unlocking part is a coordination thing too. Sometimes people will be here, they'll just unlock quickly. So they have to work on, there's a small little muscle that unlocks the knee, if you will, because when you go into full extension, it's called a screw home mechanism. Your tibia and your femur kind of screw home into full extension, and that's what provides the stability there. And then there's a muscle that kind of unlocks that and just rotates your tibia just a little bit just so you can get out of that. So it's all coordination. So they come up right before the weights touch, and then right back down, drive it down, hold it, squeeze in here, 1, 2, 3, come back down again. Okay, it's a very slow exercise. Nothing else should be moving their whole body. It's literally just this and back forward with a 3-second hold. So it's this TKE at the cable column. Okay, so now we're moving into where we just did a TKE at the cable column, which was a closed chain, meaning your foot was planted. Now we're moving into an open chain, which means your foot is not planted. So now we're doing TKE over half moon, pretty much what it is. Terminal knee extension is TKE, by the way. So they're starting from here, they're going straight up, toe up towards them, back down nice and slow. You don't want to see this. This is not TKE. This is a little bit of knee extension. This is TKE. All right, so if they're not getting this with whatever weight you're putting on, take the weight off. You should always start with having the person lock out both knees, and the toes should be even. If they're not even, then let's say the person only gets up this far because it's just very, very tight. That's fine, but they better get to the same range of motion with and without weight. Because if you put a weight on and they can only get up this far, then the weight's too much. So you work and you strengthen within the available range that you have. The available range is here. Again, that's fine. We're going to work to straighten it out and get it to here where it's fully locked out. But if it's not here and it's almost to here, and they get this far without weight, and when you put a 5-pounder on and they still get this far, then that's okay. But if they get less, that means the weight's too much. So if you guys don't understand that, ask a therapist, ask an aide about that. But we always want to strengthen within the available range that we have. And the available range is set by having no weight whatsoever. If the person gets up to here and you as a therapist or the aide slowly take the leg and you can bring it up further, then that means the weight of gravity is too much. And they have the available range to lock out. They just don't have the strength to go against gravity to lock out. So discuss that with the therapist. The therapist should see that, but these are things that you guys want to know about as well. So they come down here, they go up, they lock out, and again at the top, you want to hold it for at least 2 seconds, come down nice and slow, go back up, hold it for at least a couple seconds, come back down. It's not the full range of motion. You can see the knee can bend a lot more, start from here and go back up. We're not really caring about the whole range of motion. What we're really focused on is the last 20 to 30 degrees and getting that lockout. That's very, very important for the knee that you get the lockout. All right, so this is TKE, half moon. Of course, you could add weight to go up. At some point, the therapist should discontinue it and add a harder exercise for the quad. Number 172 is knee extension at the table. I'm going to show you with a towel, which is a T with a circle. And the reason we add that is, although this is soft on a hamstring that's very, very inflamed, this might be a little bit too much pressure. So we put a towel to stay a little bit more cushion. You'll see that when we do it on the machine. Don't let the towel be hanging off. This does nothing. Use common sense. We want it on the muscle, the hamstring muscle, which is basically from here. This can be a little hard, so have it overhanging a little bit just to take care of that. All right, the person gets on, they lift their leg up, you slide this underneath. Okay, so it's on. You can put a half moon bolster behind the person to help them sit up. The aides will show you that, or maybe we'll show you that at the end of this. Person slides back, rest on their hands, the knees hanging off, okay? And they basically start from here, and they go up. This is more range of motion. Here you want to have the toe up, pointing towards the sky. When you ankle pump, when you dorsally flex like this and you keep it up, it helps to lock out the knee. So you want to have the toe up towards you, lock it out, make sure it's straight, go from the side view, look at it just the way you're looking at it now. If the person only gets up this far Again, same thing with the TKE. Gently try to push the leg straighter. If it can get straighter, then guess what? Doing this exercise, even with the weight of gravity, is too much. You gotta strengthen it a little bit more before you can do this exercise. But you could sit there and have the person work at it till eventually they get it straight, but certainly don't add any weight. So lock it out, come back down. The person should feel it in their muscle. If they feel pain and tension in here, we go back again. I've mentioned it within a couple other exercises. 0 is no pain, 10 is severe. If it's like a 2 or a 3 as they're doing it, let's say they feel a 2 or a 3 here and it's not getting worse as they're doing it, then you can continue. It's as they're doing it, they're getting a 2 or 3, now it's like a 4, now it's like a 5. It's getting worse as they're doing the repetitions. Then you want to, and the weight is low, then you want to let the therapist know that, and the therapist has, wherewithal as to what's going on. They're going to say discontinue it or hold the exercise. But again, just let the therapist know what's going on. If the person's got like a 2 or a 3 and it's not getting any worse on the first set, when they do the next set, that 2 or a 3 might be a 1 or a 2. Then eventually by the third set, they might not have any pain at all. So sometimes a little bit of discomfort is okay as long as it's not getting worse and as long as that discomfort is mild, like a 0 to a 3 or even a 4, as long as it's not getting worse. All right, but just make sure the pain's not getting worse as you do it. But again, locking out is very important and coming back down. So that's knee extension at the table. So I said I would show you, this is still knee extension, but this is how you do it. You sit this table up, put the half moon behind, put a pillow behind the person. This was somebody who's unstable and can't hold themselves up. They have weak abdominals or they're just very, very weak and can't hold themselves up. So this is there as an assist. They still have to keep their hands here and hold themselves up, and then we'll continue with the knee extension. So this is knee extension. You can write with back support, and the aide should know what's going on with this. All right, so number 173 is straight leg raise at 0, and then I'm going to show you at 30. 0 is basically the table's flat, okay? People, I'll show you when we get to the other one. Basically, you want to have this Tootsie Roll thing right underneath the knee. We showed you guys quad set, so the person's going to first do a quad set. They're going to push the knee down, crush the towel, crush the bolster or the Tootsie Roll thing. So they have that muscle tightening up, then toe up towards them. Then they're going to bring the leg straight up to the bend of the other knee. Right about here, come right back down, and they can relax. So they push down, bring it up, back down, relax. Push down, toe up, back down. The reason why I don't want this knee to constantly stay straight and, I want them to relax, then retighten is every single rep they're retelling the quad to do that quad set. Tighten up, toe up, then lift. If they don't do that after a while, sometimes as they keep it straight, then they start losing that knee bend and the knee starts to look like this, where it's just being brought up like this, and it's a lot more on the hip flexor here. So we want to reinforce that, push down, lock the knee, toe up to about here, and back down. They should feel it here. If the person's telling you they feel it here, take the cuff weight off, maybe tell them not to go as high up, because if they go too far up, they start feeling it here. So tell them not to go as far up, maybe take the weight away. If they still feel it here, stop the exercise immediately and let the therapist know, because what the person's doing is they're straining their hip flexor, and we don't want them to do that. All right, so that's at 0, and at 30, this is as far up as the table goes. All right, I'm not gonna get a protractor and see if it's 30 degrees, but this is pretty much what I want. Don't get it higher than that. If it's, sometimes I see it almost upright, the person's gonna strain their hip flexor. So again, they're here, okay? They still lock out the knee, bring it up to where this one is bent, right here, the fold here, come back down, relax it, retighten it, toe up, straight up, back down, and continue just like that. Tighten up, toe up, bring it up. Straight leg raise at 0, straight leg raise at 30. We're up to number 174, leg press machine. This can be done 2 ways. You always do it supine unless the therapist tells you that it is seated. Okay, don't do it seated and wait for somebody to tell you supine. You start out with supine. What we're gonna do is if the therapist wrote seated, you get the person into it. There's a lever right here on the right side. This is where the person holds on. This is where you would pull up and allow them to push up. Be careful, let the patient know that not to push up too hard. Maybe hold on to the bar at the same time so it doesn't fly up. So you bring it up. Now you want to bring them in. Come in like this. You have to be careful with the type of patient with it, which is the total hip patients. You don't want to break the hip flexion. the rule. You don't want to go past the 90 degrees of hip flexion. But we're going to start right here, okay? This is a little bit too, this is pretty much where you want the 90 degrees. This is just about the max of it, where the toes are just over the curve. That's the way you want it. They can use their hands if they want on the first one, go back up, and then pretty much, because it's hard to get out of that position, but then pretty much they come down right before the weights touch. They drive through their heels, not their toes, their heels, and they go straight up right before their knees lock out. You don't want this. Anybody hanging out like this, you tell them don't do that, because they're ruining their knees. So right before the knees lock out, then they go back down again, right before the weights touch, back up again. If they were to do a single left, let's say, on the first one they go out. This leg can hang out down here if they want. This leg can cross over this one, although I don't like this too much because then you're asking the hip to to stretch out. Usually people will have it here. We could put a stool there where the person puts their foot on the stool, or they could just let it hang like this. And they don't have to hold it up with this hip, but then they'll strain their hip flexor. Let the leg just hang out of the way. They can keep their knee a little bit straight just to keep it off the floor. They come down right before the weights touch. They drive straight up, same thing. So the rule is right before the weights touch, that's how low you go. And then right before your knee locks out, that's how high you go. And you're always driving through your heel. You don't put your foot in the middle to do this. Keep your foot right where it is, as if you were doing two legs, but then the one leg drops off. All right, so now if we want to do this supine, you take this, you lower it down. Some people slide in like this, okay? If the person's got like a neck issue and they need a pillow under their head, do that. And you would have to stand off to the side, and what you want to see is 90-90. So 90 degrees at the knees, 90 degrees at the hips. Again, anybody with a total hip precaution, you don't want to have this thing too low, that now they're flexing too much here and they're going to dislocate their hip. So bring it up, and I'm feeling about, this is pretty much where I want to be. There's that little bit of give before you actually get some tension. I'm driving through my heels, not my toes, because my feet will fly off. So again, more of a demonstration for you that I'm pushing through my heels. You go straight up, and then you come straight down. Again, right before the weights touch, they can't feel it, but after a couple of reps, they're going to know that, okay, right about here, the weights are going to touch, maybe I'll stop. It's going to take a person a few repetitions to realize how low they're going to go. Don't try to strain their neck and look to see where it's at. You visually tell them, come down slow, 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 right about here, go right back up. And they drive through their heels. And again, you don't want to see this right before their knees touch. If they were to do a single, on the first one, they go up with both legs. That's with all exercises that are single. Okay, their foot's right here. This leg can be here. You don't want to push at all with this leg. It's just resting. They come down, and you go right back up. They come down, they go right back up. If they want to hold the leg up like this as they do it, they can, but they could strain their hip. It's patient dependent. If they're not going to strain their hip as they're doing this, you could hold it up like this. You can either let it hang like this. This might aggravate the person and be uncomfortable. It's certainly going to hit this thing, so you know what? Don't do that. My shin just hit it. I don't want your patients to do that either. So have the leg straight up like this, down and up. Okay? So that's single left. Good.